And hello, people that like guitar players. I'm here with Joey Landreth. Someone with a lisp has a real problem with that.
I'm so sorry. You can do S's if you want.
Joey.
There you go.
There's no S in there.
Yeah.
Don't really know what we're doing, and I'm running a fever and look like an idiot. So while I look at my notes, why doesn't he just play a bit? And then I tell him to shut the fuck up and then I ask him questions.
Sounds good.
That was all shit, but that last bit was really lovely.
Hey, thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
that. If you had
I-
only done that, I would have been so fucking impressed.
Oh, I'll try it again, I guess. I appreciate your honesty, you know?
Oh, no, nobody does. Companies pay me for it until they get it, and then they're like, oh, he's really honest. Fuck, we didn't know that.
Yeah, we would have paid you less money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not how that works, people.
Yeah.
We are not paid shills. I mean, he might be. I don't know.
Definitely not a paid anything. Yeah.
You don't get money for anything.
Not really.
It's called being a musician.
Yes.
I have 15 questions.
Okay.
I did minor preparation for this by listening to albums while in the car. I have to say albums that he's done. And I mean...
Guns N' Roses, AC/DC.
yeah. With some gent.
Yeah.
And then, you know.
Naturally.
What I like to do when I listen to music and learn something about bands is know nothing about them.
Okay.
And just listen to the music. Like, one of my favorite bands is, what's that? They just came back, Linkin Park.
Okay.
And I don't know who's in the band. I mean, I know there's the vocalist and he died.
Yeah.
But I try to stay away from anything about them and their personal lives as much as possible so that I can purely enjoy the music. Because for me, when Nirvana came up in the 90s, I just hated everything about them because they destroyed the music that I liked.
Right.
And I couldn't enjoy Bon Jovi's Keep the Faith because he cut his hair. You know that kind of bullshit, right?
Yeah, sure.
So when you bring it to...
Fucking traitor.
When you bring it to just the music... Metallica's Load is a solid metal album until you know it's from Metallica.
Right.
Because then you're referencing all the other stuff before,
Yeah.
and why is he playing... I think he played a slide on something, like, why is he playing country guitar? Like, if you forget about all of that, and you didn't know it was Metallica, that's a solid album.
Yeah.
So I like to remove the musicians from the music. So I listen to... Joey Landreth, and then there's also Stuff You Do.
Yeah.
I didn't know who does what, because I didn't look at any videos.
Great.
Just the music, and then Derek said, you're singing. I was like, okay, now we're talking. Because that's the most important thing, and I love that you don't do guitar-y, noodly stuff.
Oh, well, thank you. I couldn't even if I wanted to.
It's actual music.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I have questions.
Okay.
Question number 1. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? It was a great weekend. Summit was awesome. Very busy. Very busy. So this is like, what day is it today? Wednesday?
Yeah.
So we're settling into more of a chill vibe, which is nice and relaxing because Summit was crazy. I had like 3 days in a row where I was like, we had a sound check at 8 a.m. one day for a 9:45 p.m. show.
Oh, God.
So, and then it was like, from there it was hanging out in booths, doing some interviews. Also, my band was over because we played on Friday night. And so we have a publicist based in Germany and he got really excited. So he said, well, I'm going to line up a bunch of interviews. So we just worked nonstop. But, you know.
So now you come here and you have to sit through more questions.
It's okay though.
Fun.
Yeah, but we're in a beautiful studio with friends.
And Derek.
And Derek.
Yeah. Derek's the guy, one of the rev guys. He actually doesn't know anything about amps, but he's got the money. Okay? He hires the people that know shit.
He's the money guy.
Yeah. So, question number 2. If you had to, because I listen to your music, because I don't even know why people talk about you as like, oh my God, Joey Landreth electric guitar, and there's a big hype about you.
Sure.
And I listen to the music, I'm like,
This guy sucks.
no, but it's music focused, not guitar focused.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is acoustic guitar focused.
Yeah.
So if you had to choose one for music, acoustic or electric?
Like for music, oh man. I would probably have to go electric, only because like if I had to do one thing for the rest of my life, the electric guitar is kind of my first love. Even though, a lot of our music is at the very least it starts on acoustic guitar and the foundations are acoustic. I would probably have to go
Could you
electric.
write the songs the same way?
I think so, because the process is always like we never do any pre-production. The songs are always just the chord changes and the melody and the lyric. So I could.
But you wouldn't. It's different.
Yeah, that's
The music would turn out differently.
That's true.
And what I do before I get to the next question, what I do really like and what I noticed is that everything is super clear production wise. There's there's the guitar on the left, there's the guitar on the right, and everything's very clean for dirty music.
Yeah.
For music that's supposed to be very dirty and rootsy.
Yeah.
But it is very organized without sounding sterile.
Yeah,
And I
thank
think that's tough because you can easily overload with the next guitar or whatever. So it's a very nice production on everything that I heard.
Thank you very much.
So, question number 3. Why do blue guitars sound better?
Why do blue guitars sound better? Well, I think in terms of a spectrum, as you go deeper into the ocean, all the other colors are filtered out. And so if you think of music as an oceanic sound stage, then you're left with only the fundamental, and that's why they do.
And you've learned it here. Joey Landreth, full of shit. I love it.
You can see it on my Wikipedia page.
It's got one sentence, full of shit.
Full of shit.
It's actually just one word, full of shit.
Full of shit. Oh, okay. Yeah.
There might be some actual questions, but
Whatever.
so how is Brothers Landreth and your solo stuff different?
I mean, I think the solo stuff has sort of, like, I've got 2 solo records, and then my first solo record was very much a follow-up on our first band record. So the long story short is we put out an album in 2013, we put it out independently, and we started to tour it, and then it started to get a little bit of traction, and then so we had to continue touring it, and then we got a record deal, and then we continued to tour it. So we actually toured that album for almost 4 years, and by the time we were finished touring it, we were worn out, and so we took a break, and my brother needed to sort of work on his mental health, and it was a really challenging time for us. We just said yes to absolutely everything, and it nearly killed us. So we took the band off the road, and then I made my first solo record, which was really a follow-up to the first record. And then my second solo record was much more experimental. So it's kind of like there's a bit of a gradient. And then when we brought the band back on the road for the album, which is called Come Morning, we were trying to marry what I was doing more in the, and I mean, I use the word experimental, like, as compared to other roots music. Like, it's not like it's Bjork or something, but for the kind of music that we make, it's definitely a little left of center. So we tried to bring those elements together on that record, and that record, which is a record, we're about to put out another record here in November. So that's our last record. The goal was what does it sound like when we marry those two projects? So there's not really a huge difference. It's just like, I think in my previous solo records, I had a little more sense of adventure in terms of like this doesn't necessarily need to be a roots record, so it's okay if it's not just like drums.
If it's a
drums,
bit more
bass,
poppy,
guitar,
then
keys.
you could use it.
Yeah.
My friend Rafa, who's a great songwriter, his band, which I think by now is just me as a producer and him, because everyone's around the world and band's dead, but the project is us.
Yeah.
When he writes a song, it's very, and if it's then very singer-songwritery, then we say it's a Rafael Cano song, because him as a singer-songwriter, that's what he does. If it has more potential to be a rock arrangement or whatever, then we're saying, well, that's a Campaign Like Clockwork song, which is the band.
Yeah.
Because stylistically, those two are very different.
Yeah.
But I don't see that difference in where you are. So when you're writing a song, you wouldn't say, oh, that's something I would have for a solo album versus for the band, because it's, I couldn't really tell the delineation. Is that a word?
Yeah. And there isn't really one. I think the biggest difference winds up being in the production. Like the songwriting process for me is always the same. It's just guitar and vocal. And when we go into the studio, if there's a demo at all, it'll be just like, here's a voice memo of me playing it. Here are the chord changes.
With acoustic or electric?
Well, it depends. Mostly with acoustic, though. Yeah. Okay.
So maybe
you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you should answer the question.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'd like to redact my answer for question number 2 and replace it with the acoustic guitar just to make Henning happy.
We'll circle back to that. 5. Why rev when there are so many actually good amps out there?
They pay me so much money.
That's an honest answer. Moving on.
No. The guys at Rev are good friends of mine. They're from my hometown, and I think what they do is fantastic.
It's just close. Save gas. That's a good. Hey, that's also bad. I accept all these answers.
This is a controversial channel. This is fake news. No. I love those guys.
Good people.
I love what they good people, good friends.
You compromise with the amp quality, but the people are good.
Exactly. I don't know how to answer this question without getting myself into trouble. You're really baiting me here.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm a master at it.
Yeah,
yep.
Apparently.
If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're a masturbator.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah. Hey, look, I've got by now 10 rev amps or something, probably more. So who am I to bitch about that? It's good shit. Come on, buy it. Link below. Next question. Are you good at math?
Sometimes.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
How do you approach songwriting?
I don't know. It's a hard thing to answer.
Do you sit down and say, I'm writing a song now?
No, usually it starts with like a little idea that sort of pesters you at the back of your mind, and then, I mean, I have 2 small kids, so there's not a lot of time in the day to just go, okay, now I'm doing this, because usually then it's like somebody's hungry or somebody needs something. So I'll have like this feeling in the back of my mind and go, okay, I've got an idea, or I'll hear something in my head, or I'll be noodling on the guitar and something comes up, and then I'll earmark it and say, okay, I'm going to come back to that later. But I've never been very successful when I schedule time to write. And I know for some people that's essential. But it needs, for me, I'm mostly successful starting and finishing something when it's spontaneous. But I mean, we also book sessions too. So, but my preferred method is definitely like when something sort of comes to you and it feels like a bird coming to the window,
Inspiration.
Yeah. Yes.
So following up on that, I sit here like an interviewer.
Barbara Walters. Yeah.
I usually don't do this because I get a guitar. Do you think there's something for you like writer's block? Do you think, if you said, I want to write a song now, could you sit down and write a song?
No, I struggle with that so much. And I think I do so much that is creative. I work in a studio as well. So I do a lot of recording and a lot of editing and a little bit of production for other people, but mostly on my own stuff. I play a lot of guitar. I build pedal boards for myself and for some friends. So I have a lot of creative outlets. And when it comes time to write, I feel like a lot of times that the bucket is kind of empty. So I have lots of friends that are great writers you can just go, hey, let's write a song, and then they'll sit down, and 45 minutes later they have a song. I really struggle with that. It's probably of all the things that I do in the creative space, that's probably the thing that I struggle with the most, and I have the biggest sense of imposter syndrome over the writing thing.
What's his face? Redhead guy. Ed Sheeran. I think he said it right. There is no such thing as writer's block because it's a mechanism. It's tools. It's using skills.
Yeah.
And if you realize that you have them, and you do have them, then there shouldn't be anything like writer's block because you're just using the tools, whether it's rhyming
Sure.
or song form or whatever. If something comes to you like the little bird, magic can happen. And that you can't force. But writing a decent song, I think you can do any time of the day if your job is being a musician. And where you learn this is in the almost but not quite complete guide to songwriting available at spectreacademy.net. I gotta make some money. No, we really show people, we teach people that if you know harmony theory, you know lyric writing, and you have all the tools. For example, if your process is always sitting down with an acoustic guitar and you have a cool riff that happens and then you riff off of that and then you build a song around it and that just doesn't happen, which is totally normal, well, then maybe you start with
something else.
Lyrics only.
Yeah.
Or put on a drum group.
Yeah.
Or you can have a melody and find really cool sounding chords for that melody. So whether you start with a melody or chords or a rhythm or a set of lyrics or a drum groove or whatever, if you're stuck, go to another element that will be there later and use that as an inspiration.
I mean, that's great advice, and maybe I need to take Henning's songwriting course.
Available at spectreacademy.net.
Spectreacademy.net.
It's the almost but not quite complete guide to songwriting. Okay, that was the not sponsored by. Fucking buy the course and make me some money. Come on. Where was I? Okay, as a musician, what advantages do you have being Canadian?
I mean, there's a fair amount of government support for the arts.
I love that you're taking this seriously. I love it.
You don't want me to take it
No,
seriously?
absolutely. It's a dick question, but go ahead.
Oh, I think there's lots of things that are beneficial being Canadian. We live in a part of Canada where there's nothing around. Like, in Germany, you drive 20 minutes down the road, you're in another town.
Yeah.
And if you drive 20 minutes down the road from Winnipeg, you're nowhere.
So you got to write songs.
Well,
because what else are you going to do?
The music scene is really vibrant, and so there's lots of people to be inspired by. And nobody comes to Winnipeg to play shows unless you're a huge band playing the hockey rink. So if you want to go to a club and see a band, you're watching a local band, and everybody are badasses, and nobody. I think there's long been this expectation that no one is going to really export out of Winnipeg. So there's not a lot of ego, and if you have a lot of ego, you don't last very long. So I think that's a great benefit. And I mean, like Ariel Posen is from Winnipeg. He's a total monster. Yeah. Well, when he's got a guitar in his hands, yeah. When he's not, he's as cute as a button.
I met him once for about 30 seconds, but seemed nice.
He's a lovely guy. But yeah, I think that's a benefit. Other than that, it gets very cold in the winter, so you have nothing else to do but practice.
I would also say that in the music scene, the people that get anywhere are the people that are easy to get along with. Tim Pierce is great, but Tim Pierce's personality of not arguing with the producer or the artist, whatever, get the job done, is why he is where he is. Lee Sklar is brilliant, but Lee is a super nice guy.
Yeah.
You want to hire nice people.
Yeah. I think there's rare exception to that, and it's when somebody is absolutely virtuosic, where you'll put up with their bullshit because they're just that good, but it's few and far between.
But in general, Canadians are nice people.
In general, yeah. I've met lots of people who are incredible at their instrument, but they're hard to get along with. And I don't care how good you are.
Exactly.
I'm never going to have you in the van for 12 hours.
That's why I'm not in the band. Nobody likes me.
I think you're pretty. Listen, he's actually a pretty nice guy. Don't let the personality fool you.
Oh, by the way,
his personality is great.
To my lovely friends at Sweetwater, the Thomann Cup is pure coincidence. We have Sweetwater cups.
It's on both sides.
That's not deliberate. We love you, Sweetwater. Okay, so how important is knowing harmony and music theory for you for what you do?
Harmony is very, very important. I'm essentially self-taught, so I mean, I'm definitely studied, but I'm not like formally educated or anything like that. I think theory is it's a complicated question, because I think a lot of people go and learn theory and go, why can't I make music? It's like, because theory doesn't make music. Theory just help. I like when I teach, I tell my students, like, theory is just a way to archive the idea. So you can say, I like the sound of a 1-1-6-4-5, and understanding that means the first triad of the major scale and the sixth triad and the fourth and the fifth triad. Being able to archive like that is important, but knowing the emotional consequence of making a harmonic decision is more valuable. And so I know lots of people who couldn't tell you at all what they're playing, but they're communicating fluently with music, right?
You could absolutely make great music without knowing what you're doing, but replicating it is much easier when you know what you're doing.
100%.
I make a mistake and it sounds great. Oh, I want to make that mistake again next month. Then
what is it?
Then you need to find out why.
Yeah.
And talking about getting stuck again and writer's block, I'm on this plateau when everything kind of sounds the same. Knowing that I can replace the 4 with a 2 minor.
Yeah.
Let's just try that.
Yeah.
I have songwriters coming in the studio and they play something and they're very stuck in, this is it. I'm like, well, let's reharmonize that. Let's see if we can maybe have a pedal tone and just have the 4 in the chorus for the first chorus as the bass note, and have the chords moving on top, and little things like this. It's just expanding your toolbox. If you have a great toolbox, you don't have to.
You have a really great box of tools.
And sometimes I can use them.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. And the other place where I find it really valuable is, because I'm self-taught to a large degree. There are certain things in the way that I think about music that I kind of have to like communicate to other people. This is sort of how I think, for better or worse. This is just how I think. But in my band, we all speak that language, and so when we're harmonizing, like doing vocal harmonies, I can speak to each person and say, this is what I'm hearing. I instead of that natural 4, we're playing a 2 major chord, so I want you to sing a sharp 4. This is how you get to that note. Being able to do that and being able to like arrange things on the fly is very hard to do. I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's very hard to do if you don't have a little bit of theory. Well, but I think you can get most things done with basic understanding of just triads in a diatonic environment. I don't think you don't have to go much further than that, but even as you get into other sort of harmonic spaces, melodic minor, harmonic minor, diminished, like half whole diminished, you name it, it all comes back to that triad diatonic stuff. And if you understand that stuff well, then you can branch out and learn other things.
It's also a time saver in the sense of, if I'm arranging some ear candy chords on top of the main chords, and I want to add some 9s and 7s or whatever, if I'm in any kind of not blues or rootsy context, I will avoid the 7 on the dominant, because it is a very strong bluesy kind of a thing. You can't put that in a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
And so I will go and add maybe an 11 or a 9 to give it some flavor. So knowing on what chord degrees you can add, some nice notes. On
color without like changing the identity of something. Yeah,
and
for sure.
You can be a band and fit around in the studio for a day or 2, or you can be educated in that way and just know all that shit's not going to work. These 3 options work. You try the 3 options and you move on. That's the difference between a band renting a studio for 3 months and playing around and finding it the
long way,
the inspired way, or just knowing, look, none of that shit works. The danger with that is, and that's exactly what Tim Pierce said. They asked him, when did you last play a wrong note? Because he knows exactly what notes don't work. He said, it's been a while, but the problem is you don't take chances. You don't play that wrong note and all of a sudden something magical happens, because he rules out all the stuff that he knows for sure doesn't work, But maybe, for some reason, it would have worked.
Like it's pretty weird sound.
That's tense.
You know the you know, I think those are that's just one example. It's just the first thing that came to my mind where I wouldn't play that on purpose almost ever, but in the right context, it's a beautiful accent.
Yeah, it's got a lot of tension that you resolve, but targeted knowledge isn't going to get you that chord.
Yeah,
unless you once played it and you know how to use it, and then it goes in your toolbox.
Yeah,
gotta have a big box.
Gotta have a big, sizable box.
I actually thought of questions that I'm not on here, but let's go to the next one and then the next one.
Okay.
So this is your guitar.
Yeah.
Good. I'm sure they're going to be happy that I've mentioned that. What are the D people? Deutschland guitars.
Deutschland guitars, yeah.
Yep. Cool color? I mean, it's not blue, so it could sound better.
Well, it's also not blue. I would say that there's a fair amount of blue in this. Green, wouldn't you?
Yep. And gold.
Yeah.
I know someone likes to decorate in gold, but we're not going there. So what's with
what do you mean?
No, nothing. What's with the little switchies?
So it's obviously got 3 pickups and a 3-way switch.
You got a really big one back there.
Yeah. I tried to come up with something clever, but
just moving on.
Yeah. So this bottom switch lets you bring in the middle pickup, so you can have in the bridge position, you bring this switch in, and it brings in the middle pickup in the neck position, so you can get those sort of strat positions. The only thing that you can't do currently with this is have the middle pickup by itself.
So I've seen another guitar that did that. So instead of having the typical 5-way, you went for that.
Yeah. And that was Duesenberg's idea. They really like this sort of configuration, and I find it pretty fun, you know. And I like being able to get just these guys together, sort of in your classic 2 pickup thing. So it's nice.
They're really deep in there. It's interesting.
Yeah, and you can raise them up, like with these 2 screws, you can bring them forward. But it's great. Like I have literally never accidentally hit them.
It's an interesting configuration.
Yeah. I do really like this.
And then got the wiggle sticking?
The wiggle stick. It's my favorite.
You didn't go to My Trem, did you? It's a stupid name, but it's a revolutionary tremolo system. You would go nuts for it.
Is it the one where they all move at the same time? No, what is it?
Yeah, it does that.
Yeah.
But each string can be configured the way that it's hooked up and tuned to do different things. If you wanted one string not to trem at all down, it can do it. Only up. If you wanted to have one string go up while you push down, it can do it.
Whoa.
If you're doing a major third right here, like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you push it down, so the B string went a half step up and the G string went a whole step down, and so you went from a major third to a fifth.
Whoa, that's cool.
So you could do B bender and G bender.
That's crazy.
You can do any combination, and the way that you set it up becomes a reflection of your individuality as a player.
Oh, I gotta check that out.
Your tremolo is the way that you play. You want to be in G bender, it's there. You want to do dive bombs, 9 half steps, but it's completely in tune. You can do an open G, and you bend it down to a D minor.
Dude, that's crazy.
And it sounds so perfect that you literally think you're using a whammy. But a whammy can't go major to minor because it cannot do different strings.
Yeah.
Mine was set up so that the E, A, and high E string on up didn't do anything. So it was only the D, G, and B.
Yeah.
and you play a power chord on the low E. So when you bend up, it's only the D string that goes up.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you can actually do a sus2 and go major, minor.
Is it a bulky?
Nope. It's smaller than a Floyd.
Wow.
Everyone's mind was blown.
Yeah, I bet.
I made a video last Monday, and it's at 85,000 clicks. Guitar World picked it up. Everyone stopped by the booth because of it. Everyone's mind's blown. They just need someone that actually buys it because they are Swiss engineers who have no marketing skills. They know how to build a tram.
Yeah.
And at the moment, because they're building it in Switzerland, small batches, it's $600.
Yeah, right.
So in the US, you're looking at 800.
Yeah.
But it is going to change the way the guitar works as an instrument.
Yeah.
For people like you, for Nashville, this is ridiculous. And you can do pedal steel stuff.
That's crazy.
The high E string doesn't go up when you bend, for example.
Yeah.
So you can do stuff on the B string and do bends, and you have like pedal steel. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
So yeah, I was hoping you check that out.
No, I didn't, but I will as soon as we get out of here.